developing countries. The resources are here, but we have to pull out these resources with the realization that we have to build our society as a nation. So that's why whoever, 12th year of this CSR awards, and that's a good feature, because every year this realizes us that where are we now, where we have to go next year. Always, whenever you have a annual conference, it has two basically giveaways. One, analyze what we have done in the year, outgoing year, and what we have to do next year. So CSR spending should be part of the business planning. It should not be something isolated or a piece of cake isolated from the main cake. It should be part of the business strategy as investment, not as spending. If you will start thinking in these lines, then certainly you will have your profits gained up. I would like to quote one example here. When after 2005 earthquake, I was coming down from the valley which was cut off from rest of the country, and down the line we had some international colleagues from humanitarian sector. One of my colleagues who was from UK, he asked me, Shafkat, can we stop for a while here? He saw one tent on a rock, and there was written Tesco. He said, I want a picture of this one. He got the picture there. I said, what would you do? He said, Tesco donated some small organization for this, and when they will see their brand in humanity, spending in humanity, they will give more. And certainly it happened. Tesco contributed £50,000 after just sending one picture. So this is how we can make others realize. That is why Naeem Saab and their team are, the real people who are actually.
Saiba, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and a very good morning. Mr. Naeem Qureshi, Chairperson of the National Forum for Environment and Health, organizers of this meeting, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to be here today. And the reason for that is because I'm responsible for constituting welfare policy for the government and for executing the government's program for welfare. And I think this is a job which cannot be done by the government alone. The private sector, the business community, the civil society, communities, individuals form a very important component of our society, and unless we rally together their support, their contributions, their entrepreneurial talent, their outreach, we are not going to be able to deliver on the premise of welfare for the citizens. And I genuinely believe in that, which is why I was very pleased to see a conference organized in support of corporate social responsibility, which is your institutional vehicle to support these initiatives. Now, the contributions of the private sector and the civil society are squarely part of the ESAS program. I'm sure you must have heard a lot about it. ESAS is the government of Pakistan's program to accrue benefit to the disadvantaged people. There are various ways of classifying ESAS. You can classify it technically and say that it has 4 pillars. A pillar focused on human development, human capital development, a pillar focused on social protection, another pillar centered on livelihoods for the poor, and another pillar focused on pro-poor governance. So that's the technical way to classify ESAS. There is also a way to classify ESAS based on who it targets. So in the whole gamut of around 130 actions that ESAS comprises, there are interventions that target poor women, there are others that target orphans, there is a basket of interventions for farmers, for laborers, for the sick who can't afford to pay, for very poor students, for making the government pro-poor. So you can classify the 130 elements of ESAS based on who it targets. And then you can classify ESAS based on whether the basket of 130 actions are programs, or whether there are policy initiatives, or whether there are governance-related initiatives. And there are various ways to cut the cake, so to speak. So essentially, it is SAS is a whole of government program. So welfare is, of course, my responsibility to the extent of coordination and to the extent of rolling out some of the big programs. But welfare has also been embedded in the mandate of 34 federal ministries and in the scope of work of provincial governments. And all those actions and programs comprise the basket of SAS, which currently is upwards of 130 actions. Many of the actions we will not be able to achieve without the participation of the private sector, without your participation. We are already in the process of forging many partnerships, and the policy which crystallizes those into a format, into a formal document, is in the final stages of preparation. I just want to give you a snapshot on how we envisage engaging the private sector in the rubric of SAS. And when I was sitting there, I just quickly jotted out 8 points to quickly highlight to you. I think the first way of engaging the private sector is to signal to the private sector that the government holds integrity and transparency and a level playing field highly important. Because the private sector can be optimally harnessed in the government's realm of work only when you provide them a level playing field, and only when they understand that the government is committed to integrity. And I say this because it is hugely important for the contracting that we do. I'll give you an example. The Benazir Income Support Program is a massive shop channeling $1 billion a year to disadvantaged communities. We had contracts with 6 banks forged about 10 years ago, sole source contracted. And when I came into office, with the approval of the cabinet, I embarked upon a contracting process and brought on board 2 banks through a competitive selection process. And we were very stringent on transparency measures. We were very diligent on transparency measures. We made sure that there was a level playing field. And I wanted to signal to the private sector that things have changed, that the government is willing to and has the capacity to do things with integrity. So I think that is the foremost thing that we signal to the private sector. Secondly, I think the responsible business from a welfare standpoint is another important thing that you can commit yourself towards, and from which the government can benefit as a welfare endpoint. To push the needle on that, we constituted the Labour Expert Group, and the Labour Expert Group met over 4 months, and it highlighted that there are many draconian practices happening out there in the field which can be changed. For instance, there are lots of laborers in the informal sector. Even in the formal sector, even in the formal businesses, there are laborers in the informal sector. And just by making sure that they enter the formal sector, just by making sure that their wages are digitized, that they are given wages through bank accounts, that their employers register them in EOBI, their employers register them in Employee Social Security Institutes, we can achieve a huge welfare mandate just by engaging colleagues like yours and ensuring that they subscribe to minimum wage. They make sure that that wages are paid through bank accounts, that their pensions and social security benefits are accrued. And I'm very pleased to say that we are accumulating a very vast body of partners, of private sector partners, who are committing to these norms and are helping the government achieve these welfare endpoints. So that's the second way in which SAS envisages partnering with you for welfare endpoints. The third is the prize funding route. The private sector today and all over the world does not have the incentive to produce goods and services for the bottom of the pyramid. It is not commercially viable for them to do that. It is not commercially viable for the pharmaceuticals anywhere in the world to produce, to invest in research for neglected diseases of poverty in Africa, for instance. And therefore, all over the world, there is a norm to provide the push and pull mechanisms to create the incentives for the private sector to invest in that space. At SARS, we have commenced this process. A few months ago, we launched a prize for anybody who could produce and commercialize a thela, which is a push cart, so that the poor people could invest in that and enhance their incomes. We launched another prize for a rickshaw which could navigate the small streets of villages and could be ideally powered with waste, which predicated on the understanding that that will enable us to pursue health and livelihoods and environmental endpoints at the same time. We launched another prize for a model for the commercialization of a clean cooking stove, because poor people in the communities live in, many of them live in single room houses where their cattle and humans live together, where cooking is done in the same room with cow dung. There's a lot of disease, chest disease in poor women. So by launching these three prizes in the first wave, we are catalyzing the private sector to come up with commercially viable solutions which the government will incentivize, predicated on the understanding that they will help the lives of poor people. Number 4, we've also launched a number of expressions of interest to explore partnerships. For example, it is our objective that artisans, the Pakistan's very vibrant artisans in the villages should be linked to upmarket fashion houses. But the government does not know how to join those dots and who to catalyze and how to push the needle on that. So we launched exploratory expressions of interest, and we have, and there are 5 that we've launched. Who can launch a microcredit facility for a daily wage worker? How can we get access to online education content which we can make freely available for the rugged mobile devices that poor people inevitably have in villages? So in addition to the prize funding, these 5 exploratory RFPs are also in the field. Number 5, we forged partnerships wherever we could. And I'll give you an example of that. The Prime Minister was very keen to do a nationwide langar scheme. So I went around looking for a partner who had the capacity to produce meals at scale. And we found a Karachi-based trust. It so happened that their constraint was space. They said that we have the capacity to produce 100,000 rotis a day and meals for 500,000, and we've invested in kitchens and we've invested in roti producing plants, but we need to have space on bus stands, on railway stations and industrial establishments, on bus addas, and that is where we don't have access, because there are little khokewalas who pay bribes to police officers and throw us off the business. So the partnership we forged with them was a very simple and a true example of a public-private partnerships. We give them space, government space, and we give them protection to run free meals for the most disadvantaged people, so that the laborer who is going to go without lunch and the traveler who is not going to have money for dinner will just go and eat for free. It's an example of a simple public-private partnership, just because the government had the right intentions and were able to engage the partner on terms that were productive. That's the 5th example I give you. The 6th example is an example we are exploring with a commercial bank and will very soon launch. The proposition we had was that there are laborers in informal industry. Many of you run formal industries, but then there's an informal element over there, and if we could digitize wage, you open up the space for social security. And the bank says that it's commercially viable for them to do that without us paying them anything, and it helps us meet our welfare points. So that's another example of a true public-private partnership. Both the private sector and the public sector have objectives which converge and which just costs nothing to the government, because the commercial sector does just as a business proposition. Number 6, the government is setting up vehicles where you can potentially contribute. Because for me, the ultimate success of SARS, I don't know how long I'm in this role, but for me, the ultimate success of SARS would be when you as a business will donate to SARS, because you will have more comfort and more transparency, and when you will donate your zakat through SARS. And for that, we are making a special purpose vehicle, which is part of our private sector policy, of 2 kinds. If you want to donate your money to an individual, SARS is creating a portal to allow you full visibility. So if you donate a 50,000 rupee, SARS will give you a complete breakdown of how that 50,000 was utilized. To treat a fracture of a boy, to treat the medicines for whatever, scholarships for and with granularity. And if you want to donate to an SARS initiative, if you want to donate your money for a langar or for a panaga, there's a different instrument and a different mechanism of dealing with that. So inshallah, over the next 3 months, these special purpose vehicles will also be launched, and you will have the ability to engage with SARS. Because right now, when people tell me, I want to send you a check, all I tell them is, please hold on for the next 3 months till such a time that I create the transparent structures for you to have the visibility of the utilization of the monies that you give to the government. And finally, on CSR, we don't want to be prescriptive, we don't want to be a draconian government, but we do want to have a policy. We want to have a policy in which we can indicate to you what an ideal CSR contribution of your net profits could be. We want to stipulate some areas where you might want to consider contributing. And we are deliberating on the incentives that individuals and companies should have in lieu of contribution. Colleague referred to many foundations in the United States who contribute a significant amount of their money to CSR. They do it because there are incentives. They do it because there are incentives in the system, and it is the job of the government to create the right incentives for the system to do the right thing. We have faltered on that for many years, and now we have an opportunity to change that. So from my vantage point, with respect to my mandate, I can say that we are deliberating on ways to create the incentive structures where businesses and the transparency of governance within SARS, so that you can have the comfort to engage with us, and you have the visibility of how your money and your contributions will be spent. So I hope that this will be the beginning of a long journey. We will continue to, I will continue to consult with you and to of course, our CSR, I beg your pardon, our private sector engagement policy, as I said, is in the last stages of formulation. I'm very happy to get you to bring your community to the table to discuss that with us. And as we go forward and as our structures and our institutions crystallize to give you the visibility, I hope that you will all engage with SARS in a very meaningful way. I have to apologize. I have another commitment, which is why I will have to step out. I wish I could have been here to benefit from your proceedings, but I'm sure that there will be other opportunities. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saiba. I think despite of short time, he is one of the key, I would say, contributor to all these conferences and is vice president of NFEH and been working with the NFEH for as long as it has been formed. And sometimes his efforts and activities are not as obvious, but believe me, I think he is as involved as anyone else. And
Sania Ibrar, thank you, madam, for being here. I also would like to our other participants, including award recipients, and I would like to my heartiest congratulation to all those companies who are taking CSR award today. Our sponsors are very important for us because without their support, the events like this could not be executed. So I would like to thank China Power, Oil and Gas Corporation, National Bank of Pakistan, Bank Islami, Mari Petroleum, DP World, Miko Tax, Pagar Refinery, Searle, Pakistan, Envirograph UK, Unity Exploration. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, it will be Ruqayya Bhabi who will do this, Ruqayya Naeem Qureshi Saiba, to present.
This is much broader than the CSR. And then the overall observations and challenges in Pakistan and way forward, what I see is the way forward for resolving our development. So to start with, the donors are generally not happy with performance of the development. This is what the overall material says. They are not happy with the indicators, the achievement of the development sector. Funding to the development sector has diminished, and probably it will diminish from the international funds. Development sector cannot alone achieve SDGs. That is for sure, that is for given. Again, this is with reference to the material. Private is being accused of being part of the problem, especially the environment and social issues. Is being more and more accused about being irresponsible. And then the third concept is corporate citizen. So now it is being transformed from CSR to responsible business. And
I'm Shah. I am the Vice President of China Power Generation Company. I'm taking care of the legal as well as the corporate affairs department, which is external relations, media, government relations, and all these public forums and CSR activities. Our company, China Power Hub Generation Company, is a joint venture company between two very important mother companies. One is SPIC, SPEC, which is one of the 4 largest electricity producers in China. It is known as SPIC is the same company. It has multiple ventures going on in Pakistan. One of them is our company CPAGC, and we are producing electricity in Pakistan. This is a picture of our plant, which we have just completed construction of, and we've gone into commercial production of electricity. And the other partner in the joint venture of our company is HUBCO. Again, it is a well-known company, well-known local power generation company. So this is a very interesting combination, a joint venture between HUBCO and between SPIC. So together we were able to, we started construction. We have a very young company. CPAGC started its construction in July 2016, not too long ago, of the plant that you see as we speak. How do I forward this? This is a night vision of the we have our own dedicated jetty and port from where our shipments come for the fuel of the plant, and this is a night shot of that. Our plant is situated in Balochistan, 45 kilometers from, sorry, it's situated in Balochistan, which is 45 kilometers north of Karachi. How does one? Okay. 45 kilometers north of Karachi. I'm sorry, we're having some problem with this. Yeah. Okay, right. आगे के लिए. Okay. So as you can see, we have completed our plant. We've gone into commercial production of electricity, and the Honorable Nadeem Saab to share my thoughts with you. The topic that I was given was to share through CSR हम indigenous जो knowledge है और thoughts है वो किस तरह हम promote कर सकते हैं. Just very quickly, I'm a development economist, or मेरा जो position है, I wear two hats. I'm Vice President Corporate Social Responsibility of Hashu Group, as well as being Country Director or CEO of Hashu Foundation. हाशु ग्रुप आप लोगों को पता है कि सदरुद्दीन हाशवानी साहब ने establish किया था. It's a conglomerate with several verticals, including oil and gas, real estate, and better known for its hospitality. The foundation was also established by Sadruddin Hashwani Saab as a trust in 1988, so we were a little over 30 years old. Initially, जिस तरह typical CSR होता है तो हम medical camp, social sector, humanitarian काम कर रहे थे. More recently, about 3.5 years ago, when Murtaza Hashwani Saab became the chairman, we repositioned the foundation and aligned it with the Sustainable Development Goals. We continue with the legacy of Sadruddin Hashwani Saab, which is humanitarian and relief work. And we're present across Pakistan. We have centers from Gilgit to Gwadar. One of our flagship programs is our skill development program with training.
National Bank are committed to the vision and values of Qaid-e-Azam, Muhammad Ali. Dr. Arif Alvi, President of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, on celebrating 70 years of success of National Bank of Pakistan. A message by Mr. Imran Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan. Dr. Abdul Hafiz Sheikh, Mr. Zubair Sumro, Chairman, National Bank of Pakistan, and Mr. Arif Usmani, President, National Bank of Pakistan. National Bank of Pakistan is a 3 trillion rupee bank in Pakistan's banking industry. It has the widest presence in Pakistan with over 15,500 employees. National Bank has won a large number of awards. I will just name a few. These include Asian Development Bank Annual Trade Finance Award 2018, the Bankers Award, Asian Banking Finance Award, Retail Banking Award, FPCCI Award, Best Foreign Exchange Bank, to name a few. NBP have also received a large number of awards for CSR and the Summit Awards.
जहाँ पे हमारे operational districts हैं, and I'm thankful to my team, CSR team, and the management of OGDCL for supporting us in almost doing anything and everything under the sun under CSR. Or we have a largest CSR budget, almost second largest I would say, which is over 1 billion rupees a year. And जो कुछ भी हमारे बाकी partners ने कहा है, Hashu Group, Aisha Khan, Madam Amin Shah, and everybody else. It's really a great thing and great initiatives. ایک چھوٹی سی بس ایک ہی بات میں کہوں گا کہ CSR initiatives, of course, they all have to be in line with the SDGs. They all have to be in line with the current policies of the country and everything else. بٹ اس کو سسٹینیبلٹی تبھی مل سکتی ہے جب اس کی سینس آف اونرشپ بھی آئے. تو جو اسٹیک ہولڈرز از اے ویری براڈ ٹرم فار دی بینیفیشریز. اسٹیک ہولڈرز کوڈ بی اینی باڈی کوڈ بی اے اسٹیک ہولڈر. تو ہم نے اس کو فوکس رکھا ہے جو بالکل ڈائریکٹ بینیفیشریز ہوتے ہیں انہی علاقوں کے جہاں پہ گورنمنٹ کی ریگولر سروسز, لائن ڈپارٹمنٹ کی ریگولر سروسز, گورنمنٹ کی ریگولر پروگرامز نہیں پہنچ سکتے. تو ہم وہاں پہ پہنچتے ہیں, جیسے کہ آشو فاؤنڈیشن نے کہا. جیسے کہ ہمارے کافی ایریاز ہیں جو کہ بالکل فار فلنگ ہیں اینڈ اٹس ویری ڈیفیکلٹ ٹو ورک دیئر. پانی کی سپلائی نہیں ہوتی پینے کے لیے, ایجوکیشن کے پرابلم ہوتے ہیں, بیسک انفراسٹرکچر نہیں ہوتا. تو ہماری کوشش ہوتی ہے کہ ہم ان کو انوالو کریں اور کر رہے ہیں. لائک اے سیڈ کہ ہم اس میں ایز اے کیٹلسٹ کا رول پلے کرتے ہیں اور کرنا چاہیے تاکہ جو بقایا جو سسٹینیبل پروگرامز ہیں, 5 ایئر پروگرام ہیں گورنمنٹ کے ہیں, باقی پروگرامز ہیں, کہ ان کو ہم برج کر سکیں بٹوین دی بینیفیشریز کمیونٹیز اینڈ دی امپلیمنٹنگ پارٹنرز اور جو بھی لوگ اس کے رکھوالے ہیں سسٹینیبل ڈیولپمنٹ کے. تو ایک تو یہ بات کہوں گا, اگر ہم ہاسپٹل نہیں دے سکتے تو ہم ڈسپینسری ضرور بنا سکتے ہیں. اگر ہم ڈیم نہیں دے سکتے تو ہم پانی کی واٹر سپلائی کی چھوٹی اسکیم ضرور لگا سکتے ہیں. اگر یونیورسٹی
پاکستان کا ویژن ہے اس کے ساتھ انگیج کریں, کیونکہ میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ یہ پاکستان کی بہتری کی موومنٹ ہے. ہمارا دینی فریضہ بھی ہے کہ ہم درخت لگائیں, جو کہ صدقہ جاریہ بھی ہے, اور صفائی ہمارے حضور صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے فرمایا ہے کہ وہ نصف ایمان ہے ہمارا. تو ان کے تحت ہم نے کوئی 35 انڈیکیٹرز بنائے ہیں اور 35 ایسی ایکٹیویٹیز ہیں جہاں پہ آپ اپنی کمپنیز کو انگیج کر سکتے ہیں. تو آئی ووڈ انوائٹ آل آف یو کہ آپ اس کے اندر اپنی کمپنیز کو انگیج کریں اور پرائم منسٹر کا جو کلین گرین پروگرام ہے اس کو کامیاب کریں. یہ انشاءاللہ ہم سب کی کامیابی اور پاکستان کی کامیابی ہے. آلریڈی آئی تھنک لوکل گورنمنٹ اس میں بہت انرجائزڈ ہیں, اور آج صبح ہی بلکہ میں نے ایک میٹنگ لی ہے جس میں 20 لیڈنگ کمپنیز جو ہیں انہوں نے ہمارے ساتھ آلریڈی MOU کیا ہوا ہے کلین گرین پاکستان پہ. سو آئی ووڈ انوائٹ آل آف یو ٹو آلسو جوائن دیٹ, اینڈ آئی ووڈ لائک ٹو کنگریچولیٹ آل دا ونرز جنہوں نے آج CSR کی اپنی جو کام کیا اس کی ریکگنیشن کروائی ہے تھرو دس فورم. اینڈ آئی ووڈ لائک ٹو اینڈ بائی کنگریچولیٹنگ NFEH اینڈ نعیم صاحب. کافی عرصے سے یہ کام کر رہے ہیں, میں بھی ان کے ساتھ کافی عرصے سے انگیجڈ ہوں, اینڈ ہی از اے ویری کمیٹیڈ پرسن. اور اس فیلڈ میں اسپیشلی انہوں نے کافی زیادہ اس کو اسٹریم لائن بھی کیا ہے اور آئی کین سی کہ اب آپ کی پارٹیسپیشن بھی بڑی انتھوزیاسٹک ہے. سو آئی ووڈ لائک ٹو کنگریچولیٹ آل آف یو اینڈ اگین کنگریچولیٹ نعیم صاحب فار دس. تھینک یو ویری مچ.
تھوڑا سا بریک ہے ابھی. ڈپٹی اسپیکر صاحب تشریف لانے والے ہیں اور آن دا وے ہیں.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. Honorable participants, organizers, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Huge pleasure for me to be here and thank you very much for inviting me here. It's indeed a pleasure and I think a wonderful activity. CSR is something which is very close to our heart, especially all those who run NGOs, organizations. They know the importance of this department and getting together again is even better because you can develop few projects while getting together and making some initiatives, taking some initiatives in special fields. My experience of coming into this field has been amazing. I have seen 3 stages of life. One, the political stage, one, the artistic one, and the third one is philanthropic. جو آرٹسٹ کا اسٹیج ہوتا ہے وہ بڑا انٹرسٹنگ ہوتا ہے. اس میں بڑی آپ کو اپلاز ملتی ہے, آپ خوش ہوتے ہیں, لوگ ڈانس کرتے ہیں, آپ کے گانوں پہ جھومتے ہیں. پالیٹکس میں بھی بڑی نعرے بازی ہوتی ہے, بٹ آئی ٹیل یو جو سیٹسفیکشن ہے وہ اس سے ملتی ہے, فلنتھروپک سائڈ سے. مجھے یاد ہے جب میں ایچ ایس این میں پڑھا رہا تھا اور میرا پہلا گانا آیا تو وہ بڑا سپر ہٹ ہوا اور میں بالکل ہواؤں میں اڑ رہا تھا, پوری دنیا میں کانسرٹس کر رہا تھا, بہت سارے پیسے بھی میں کما رہا تھا. بٹ مائی مدر پاسڈ اوے آن دا 4th of February 96, one of the darkest day of my life, I would say. And that was the time when I decided to make a hospital in the name of my late mother. And that hospital, alhamdulillah, is now up and running since 17 years and has been able to treat more than 4 million people of that remote rural area where there was no hospital 17 years ago. Now we have a hospital and a medical college next to the hospital. So it's a teaching hospital serving the catchment of about 4.5 million people, most importantly of that remote and rural area where people hardly have access to health facilities. وہاں پہ تو ڈاکٹر کو نہیں جاتا تھا MBBS, لوگ کہتے تھے وہ نہیں جائے گا, بٹ وہاں پہ ابھی پروفیسرز بھی ہیں. Now we are making a cancer hospital next to our hospital, which is even a bigger task. So میں اپنے طور پہ ہم جو کوشش کر سکتے تھے وہ ہم نے کی. But I am grateful to my Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan who gave me this responsibility of becoming a chairman of Red Crescent پاکستان. اور میں سمجھتا ہوں ایک بہت بڑی اپرچونٹی ہے. مجھے اندازہ نہیں تھا کہ یہ اتنا بڑا ادارہ ہے. جب اس کی میں بریفنگ لی تو مجھے آئیڈیا ہوا کہ اس میں تو ہیوج پوٹینشیل ہے کام کرنے. ابھی منسٹر صاحب کلائمیٹ چینج کے حوالے سے بات کر رہے ہیں, پورا کلائمیٹ چینج کا ڈپارٹمنٹ اس کے اندر موجود ہے. کلائمیٹ چینج کا ڈیزاسٹر کے ساتھ بڑا گہرا تعلق ہے, اس کا ریہیبلیٹیشن کے ساتھ تعلق ہے, اس کا ہاؤسنگ کے ساتھ تعلق ہے. پھر ہمارا انٹرنیشنلی اگر دیکھا جائے تو ریڈ کراس ریڈ کرسنٹ موومنٹ کے ڈفرینٹ انٹرنیشنل پارٹنرز کے ساتھ تعلق ہے جو کہ 194 ممالک, 194 countries, and huge funding is also available. If we develop our capacity of the national headquarters and the provincial branches also, on which we are working these days to enhance the capacity and to organize the few things to fill the gaps, جو شارٹ کمنگز OD کے حوالے سے, آرگنائزیشنل ڈیولپمنٹ کے حوالے سے ہیں. سو اٹ ہیز اے ہیوج مینڈیٹ. لیکن میں الٹیمیٹلی جب ریڈ کراس ریڈ کرسنٹ موومنٹ کو دیکھتا ہوں تو ان کا ویژن یہ ہے کہ آپ نے سیلف ریلائنٹ ہونا ہے ایٹ سم اسٹیج. ہم اس طرف کبھی گئے نہیں. اب ہم نے یہ کوشش کرنی ہے کہ اگلے 5 سال کے اندر ہم سیلف ریلائنٹ ہو جائیں اور جتنے بھی ارب روپے باہر سے آتے ہیں وہ ہم پاکستان سے جنریٹ کریں. اور پاکستان زبردست مارکیٹ ہے when it comes to philanthropy. آپ میں سے کچھ لوگ ابھی مجھے ملے جو ہمیں کروڑ روپیہ سہارا کو دیتے ہیں سال کا ڈونیشن, اور وہ ایسے تو نہیں 40 لاکھ لوگوں کا علاج کر چکا, وہ یقیناً آپ لوگوں کی سپورٹ سے وہ ہوتا, اگرچہ ہمیں دھکا لگانا پڑتا, محنت کرنی پڑتی ہے, بٹ وہ میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ ادارے میں کارپوریٹ گورننس ہو, آپ کے سسٹمز درست ہوں, پیشنیٹ لوگ ہوں, محنت کرنے والے, اور آپ کچھ کر کے دکھائیں, تو پیسے کی کبھی کمی نہیں ہوتی. بیکاز ہمارے ڈونر کو جو چاہیے وہ ٹرسٹ چاہیے کہ پیسہ کدھر لگ رہا ہے, اس کا اگر اینڈ رزلٹ مل رہا ہے تو لوگ کمی نہیں کرتے. سو سی ایس آر کا جو آپ کا ڈپارٹمنٹ ہوتا ہے, ڈیفینیٹلی اس میں فنڈز ہوتے ہیں, اور وہ بڑا بہترین طریقے سے استعمال ہو سکتے ہیں. وہ انسٹیٹیوشنل بلڈنگ میں استعمال ہو سکتے ہیں, تاکہ ایک دفعہ کوئی انسٹیٹیوشن اگر بن جائے تو وہ پھر آسانی سے آگے چلتا رہتا ہے. سو اس لیے مجھے بڑی خوشی ہوئی آپ لوگوں نے مجھے یہاں پہ انوائٹ کیا. میرا جو دل ہے وہ سوشل ورکر ہے ہمیشہ سے, اور یہی کام ہے جو میں ساری زندگی کرنا چاہوں گا, اور میں اپنے بچوں کو بھی چاہوں گا کہ وہ یہی کریں, کیونکہ اس سے بڑھ کے اور کچھ نہیں ہے, کیونکہ اس کا ڈائریکٹ تعلق ہماری آخرت کی لائف کے ساتھ ہے, جو بحیثیت مسلمان ہمارا بلیف ہے کہ دنیا تو ہے ہی ہے, شہرت بھی حاصل کر لی, پیسے بھی بڑے کما لیے, لیکن سیٹسفیکشن دنیا میں اور آخرت کی جو جنت ہے, ان دونوں کا تعلق سی ایس آر سے ہی ہے. ٹیل یو, جو اللہ نے ہم سے کرا لیا ہے, حادثاتی طور پہ ہی صحیح ہم اس میں آ گئے ہیں, لیکن جتنے لوگ آ گئے ہیں یہاں پہ, میں یہ بتاؤں اس سے بڑا کام دنیا میں کوئی نہیں ہے. یہ جو کام ہے, یہ آپ اکٹھے ہوئے ہیں, جمع ہوئے ہیں, یہ اللہ قبول کر لے آپ کی اس محفل کو. ریڈ کراس, ریڈ کرسنٹ موومنٹ کے جو اتنے بڑے بڑے خواب ہم نے دیکھے ہیں, ہم ایک ریزیلینٹ پاکستان بنانے جا رہے ہیں انشاءاللہ. ہم نے ایک اپنی شارٹ ٹرم پالیسی, ایک میڈیم ٹرم اور ایک لانگ ٹرم پالیسی جو ہے وہ ڈیوائس کر رہے ہیں آج کل. اور سب سے پہلے جو شارٹ ٹرم ہے اس میں آرگنائزیشنل ڈیولپمنٹ اور کیپیسٹی بلڈنگ کی چیزوں سے ہم لوگ گزر رہے ہیں, اور ساتھ ہی ساتھ ہم کچھ کیمپینز بھی ڈیزائن کر رہے ہیں, جس میں بلڈ ڈونیشن ڈرائیو جو ہے وہ سب سے پہلی کیمپین آپ کو نظر آئے گی. مجھے امید ہے کہ آپ لوگ اس کو سپورٹ بھی کریں گے. کلائمیٹ چینج کے حوالے سے آج میری میٹنگ تھی, جو ہمارے ریجنل ہیڈ ہیں خاویر, وہ کوالالمپور سے تشریف لائے تھے اسپیشلی, اور ادھر آنے سے پہلے میری انہی کے ساتھ میٹنگ تھی, اس پہ بھی ہم کچھ انٹرونشنس کر رہے ہیں. لیکن اس پروگرام کو بڑا بنانے کے لیے ہمیں آپ لوگوں کی سپورٹ کی ڈیفینیٹلی ضرورت پڑے گی. بلڈ ڈونیشن کیمپس لگا رہے ہیں, اس کی کیپیسٹی ٹو ابزارب وہ بڑھانے کی کوشش کر رہے ہیں. ڈفرینٹ بلڈ بینکس ہیں. ٹوٹل اس وقت والنٹیئرز ہمارے پاس 5000 ہیں, جن کو ہم نے انشاءاللہ اپنا جو 3 سال کا ٹائم ہے, 5000 کو ہم نے, میرے اللہ نے چاہا تو 1 ملین پہ لے کے جانا ہے. 10 لاکھ والنٹیئرز کم از کم ہم نے ان 3 سالوں کے اندر بنانے ہیں. سو بے شمار چیزیں ہیں جس میں ہم لانگ ٹرم پالیسیز پہ بھی کام کر رہے ہیں. مجھے آپ کی سپورٹ کی ضرورت پڑے گی. ایک دفعہ پھر میں آپ لوگوں کو مبارکباد پیش کرتا ہوں کہ اتنا زبردست آپ لوگ کام کر رہے ہیں. اللہ تعالیٰ آپ کا, ہمارا, ہم سب کا حامی ناصر ہو. بہت شکریہ. تھینک یو.
So we would thank you so very much, sir, for sharing your views with us, and we would request Mr. Ibrar to please give away tokens of appreciation to our worthy sponsors. So yes.